Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club. Today I want to talk about the similarities between fiery little Arya Stark from A Song of Ice and Fire and Croyd Crenson, the Sleeper from the Wildcard series. I'm going to work under the assumption that seeing that you're watching this video, you have a good idea who these people both are. These two have a lot in common, so without further ado, let's begin our similarity comparison. They both experienced trauma at a young age while pretty much on their own. Arya witnessed her father's household massacred in the Red Keep and later witnessed her father's execution aged only 9. Croyd was at school the day the wildcard virus hit the world and decided to try to go home on his own with a friend instead of staying in the relative safety of the school. He witnessed the riot that ensued after the wildcard virus's release, and people dying and mutating all around him in the streets, aged only 14. He says goodbye to his friend as their paths separate, but never finds out what happened to him or if he even lived through the virus outbreak. As he arrives home, he passes a pool of blood and meat on the ground and later discovers that that was what was left of his father after his father caught and drew the Black Queen. To witness this at the age of 14 must have been very traumatic. After the death of both their fathers, their mothers found it very hard to cope and slowly descended into madness. Catelyn Stark was absent most of Arya's childhood and was never an overly loving mother, but nobody could call Lady Stoneheart sane in any sense of the word. Croyd's mother becomes more and more deluded until she needs full-time care, and his family make the decision to put her in a sanatorium, something that was very common in the 1950s, for people suffering with mental illness of any sort. They also both have 2 older siblings, an older brother and an older sister. For this example, I am only going to use Arya's full-blood siblings, Robb and Sansa, and Croyd has his older brother, Carl, and his older sister, Claudia. They also both use aliases when they are unrecognized. Arya uses Squab, Nan, and Mercy to name a few of the titles she goes by, whereas Croyd calls himself many different things over the years, none of which lasts longer than his next hibernation. Arya and Croyd are also both taken in by unsavory characters at a young age. Arya is taken in by the Brotherhood without banners and the Hound, and neither could be called a good role model for a little girl who is very impressionable. Croyd is taken in by Bentley, a small-time thief with skill at planning big robberies for him and Croyd with massive payouts. I would argue that the Hound and Bentley are stand-in father figures for Arya and Croyd respectively, teaching them skills that they both use later in life. They also both always form their own opinions of people and give them a chance, no matter who they are. You see this early on with Arya when she befriends Micah the butcher's boy, and you see it with Croyd when he is kind to Snotman, even though most people find him disgusting. Their chosen professions also have a lot in common. Arya is training to become a faceless man, an assassin for hire, and Croyd is a career criminal, an ace for hire, a mercenary in all but name. But their biggest similarity is their changing appearance. At the beginning of our story, Arya cuts off her hair to pretend she is a boy. She later learns Mummer's tricks with the faceless men to change her appearance, and she later learns how to wear somebody else's face using magic taught to her by the faceless men. Croyd's appearance changes every time he sleeps, and unlike Arya, it was not his choice to change how he looks. But nevertheless, I feel the effects are the same, because their changing appearance and their changing names has had a massive effect on their identity and the way they view themselves within the world. So much of who they are is tied up in who they were before they experienced trauma and the changes to their lives at young ages. Arya was Arya Stark until Yarn first cut off all her hair after her father's execution, making her Harry. But she is still Arya Stark, hidden deep in her heart of hearts, even if she denies it and tells herself she is no one. Croyd longs to learn algebra and go back to school, which is symbolic of his wanting things to go back to normal. These characters have so much in common, I find it hard to believe they did not inspire each other. The first Wildcard book with Croyd in it came out in 1987, and A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, the first book, came out in 1996. So maybe Croyd Crenson, created by Roger Zelazny, I'm very sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce your name, was an inspiration for Arya Stark. They have so much in common, I find it hard to believe he wasn't. But what do you think? Are their similarities linked? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time for more book reviews on Jessie Bear Book Club. Bye!